So, best talent for each leader in Warcraft Rumble. In this video I will go through the leaders one by one and give you my recommendation on which talent you should pick first to give you smooth progress through the game in PVE and PVP as well. You can use the chapters below this video to your advantage to check out individual leader, whichever you might need to find out right now. So let's get started right away. Starting with the Alliance leaders, we have Tirion first. Now he is a tank and he is a healer. He's pretty good holding out on his own, healing himself, dealing out a lot of damage, but also really strong to supporting your other units, your pushes towards enemy towers and enemy bosses. And you basically have two talent options here which you can choose. The most popular right now seems to be Divine Shield, which will allow him to absorb any damage for 5 seconds once he drops below 30% health, and that's can be pretty awesome. Like, he can survive any kind of bombardment during that time, maybe giving him time to kill the enemies or heal your other units even more, and that creates a strong potential value in this talent. But also By the Light is another extremely huge talent, and I would rank By the Light higher than Divine Shield. They are both kind of situational, so one can be useful in another situation and the other one in other situation, but By the Light will allow Tirion to heal the primary target, so he heals all allies with his ability, and the primary target will be healed twice as much. Now Tirion, if he's going on his own, he's a tank, he has quite high health pool, so that also makes sure that he will heal himself more. But also if you can combine Tirion, well, if with another Tirion or some high HP tank units, like Abomination was a really popular choice in before the global launch in the PvP, like Tirion and Abomination and a lot of like healing with By the Light. That was just such an immortal combo. They were just not dying to anything really. So I would rank By the Light higher than Divine Shield, but they are both really useful. The only problem with Divine Shield is that it's one time per Tyrion's lifespan, where on the other hand By the Light is gonna be utilized the whole time Tirion is alive and going through the enemies and supporting your other units. So there's your choices. You have to like carefully think which one do you feel like more, but I did pick By the Light for myself. And next we have Maiev. Now I did pick Shadowsong as my first talent for this leader. It allows Maiev to teleport ranged units when she is hit, so that's kinda allows her to take out enemy ranged threats faster and more reliably. But also the enveloping shadows is a really good option for this leader. Like, you basically get a free smoke bomb cast for this build. So if you want to run like a huge stealth build with Maiev, which is usually what she is for, she is like a stealth leader, you can get a free smoke bomb once you deploy Maiev, and also you don't have to use smoke bomb in your deck, freeing you one slot for some other card in your deck. That kind of creates value with not just the cost of smoke bomb, but also like freeing up one slot in your build if you need to use that for your stealth build. So those are both good options in my opinion for Maiev. I did pick the Shadowsong first for myself. And then we have Jaina. Now, while Jaina is in play, your spells will cast 3 levels higher than usual, so she's kinda intended to be used in a spell-heavy deck, which is why I chose the clear casting for the first talent, because that allows you to cast spells for cheaper just after playing Jaina, potentially giving you a lot of value by being able to play some important spell that casts 3 levels higher than your normal level for that spell. So that's the one I chose for Jaina for this first talent. And jumping to beast leaders next, we have the old Murk-Eye. Now this is such a strong leader, absolutely one of my favorites. I do love the Murlocs, I do love using this leader, especially strong in PvP, but also very, very usable in PvE as well. Now, hands down, the best talent you can pick for old Murk-Eye is the Marathon of the Murlocs, which will increase the duration of after playing Murk-Eye for how long you can summon free Murlocs if you spend gold after playing old Murk-Eye. So that just creates so much value for you in your build. You'll be able to create such a huge horde of free Murlocs that will absolutely destroy anything in front of them, as long as you support them with some sort of a tank unit in front they will be dealing great damage from the back lines, and that's just, it just breaks everything. So this is hands down the best thing you can get. Marathon of the Murlocs is the best talent for old Murk-Eye. And then we have Hogger. I personally recommend the Hamhock as the first talent for this leader, because his normal ability is that every time he's played, his movement and attack speed will be increased by plus 35%, so he will be faster and stronger. And if you pick the Hamhock talent, he will also get 10% extra max HP every time he is deployed, so that will also make him live longer as well. A bigger, faster, stronger leader. Like, he is just this brute force that will go to your enemy, smack them, good old hit them, kill them, let's go. And then we have Charlga, which is probably the worst ranked leader right now, due to the nature that you usually want more damage in your builds, and she is a support, like crowd control leader more. For first talent, I would pick the Nature's Grasp, which will allow you to root 2 more additional targets, creating more value for Charlga as a support crowd control leader, giving your other units more time to deal damage to the enemies while they are being rooted in place. So that's probably the one you will want to get for Charlga. I have not had too much experience with her myself yet, but considering what my friends have told me and other people have been playing with, that would be my pick for first talent for Charlga. So beasts are done, and we have Blackrock next. We have Rend Blackhand here, which is one of my favorite leaders in the game. There are 2 great options for the first talent choose for this leader: the Flaming Soul and the Scale and Steel. Now, Scale and Steel will make him more resistant to damage, making him live longer. But Flaming Soul, that extra free living bomb when he dismounts from the dragon, can be just so huge in value in some fights that I did personally pick Flaming Soul over Scale and Steel myself, because I feel the armor trait for Rend while he's on foot is really good for survivability, but I don't really feel the resistance for the Drake while it's flying gives that much value, to be honest, because it just gives you reduced damage from elemental damage, doesn't block any other kind of range damage, spears and such that will be raining down towards your Rend while he's riding the dragon. So that's why I would rank Flaming Soul. Even though Scale and Steel is more popularly used right now, I would still use Flaming Soul because of the potential value it can give. It can like wipe out entire army while Rend is dismounting from the dragon, and that can create so much value in some of your pushes in PvE and maybe in some PvP fights as well. Then we have General Drakkisath. He is not a bad leader, but he's a bit slow to my taste, so haven't been playing him too much yet. But the talent choice I would pick for Drakki's Chromatic Scales, which will grant nearby allies the resistant trait, which will make them take less damage from elemental attacks, which essentially can help them survive area spells like Blizzard, for example. So it kind of creates more value to Drakki as a support talent to help your other units survive longer for against elemental damage, and Piercing Blows could probably be used as well, but I would still pick the Chromatic Scales for that extra elemental resistant trait for your other units, because I feel like it creates more value if you're using this leader in your builds. Okay, time to tackle the Horde, and we have Grommash first here. Now, all of these talents can be useful. They are not that like none of them screams like I'm bad, don't use me. Like they have their situations where they could be useful, but I feel like the best one to pick is the Savage Strides, which will allow him to deal double damage to enemies who are below 50% health. 50% is a pretty nice threshold to be able to activate the double damage, and that can just help him really take out one-on-one fights more easily. Now, mirror images could also help in that a lot, but the mirror images, they are really fragile, like any kind of damage will destroy them, so that's really situational where it will be helpful. And well, Blade Storm could help taking out a lot of like small weak units, but usually you will pair him with some sort of an area damage dealer most likely, so I guess that's a little bit of wasted talent over there. So Savage Strides is my pick number 1 for Grommash for sure. And then we have Cairne. Now, Cairne is this AoE damage dealing tanky leader, and for this talent I would pick the Reincarnation first for the PvP value it brings. After that he will be resurrected with 50% health, and that's quite a lot and can help him survive a lot longer, obviously. Basically it's 50% more health, but with the resurrect gimmick, so that's a really huge amount, and it creates that value for your pushes in PvP fights. That's why I would bring... I don't think the planes running is bad either for the faster movement speed, but I still think the Reincarnation brings more value with the resurrect trait than the planes running's movement speed. Because otherwise, it depends. If you have a really fast deck, then you probably want to use the planes running to support that, but otherwise the Reincarnation will be the better choice here. And then we have Sneed, whose gimmicks revolve around gold, and his ability will allow you to get more gold whenever your siege units capture towers or meeting stones or take out chests. And he is a siege unit as well, so he can activate his own passive +2 gold ability as well. And the talent I would choose here is Lead with Greed, which will allow you to get +2 extra gold if you can trigger his ability with himself. So if he can open a chest, that's +2 extra gold. So that's from the chest, that's a total 6 gold. That's a huge amount of gold you can gain if you open a chest with Sneed. And I guess the minor trait sounds great, but I don't really feel like it's that valuable. You probably don't want your expensive unit to be mining gold around while you are trying to actually kill the enemy. You have kobolds for that purpose. And we are down to the last faction, which is the Undead, and starting off with Baron Rivendare, one of the most popular leaders, especially in PvP right now, a extremely strong and versatile leader, and hands down the best talent you wanna get to this leader is the Chill of the Grave. Now, Chill of the Grave makes Baron's ability to summon you 3 skeletal mages instead of skeletal warriors, and the mages have ranged attack, and they will slow down the enemy's movement and attack speed once they hit them, and that creates such a huge amount of control for you, but also damage for you. They are just so strong that I actually expect they will be, or the ability will be nerfed at some point in some way. Maybe it won't spawn them as often or something, but it's so strong right now. It creates so much value, especially in PvP, because they can take down enemy kobolds, they can pressure multiple lanes at once. It's such a strong, hands down the best talent you can pick, Chill of the Grave. And then Thalnos. Now, Drain Life sounds good, it would be good, but the actual percentage of lifesteal is so low it doesn't really justify wasting a talent slot for that. So Bane is the one you want to get for Thalnos first, for increased attack speed for Thalnos for 5 seconds after you play a spell. Again, like Jaina, Thalnos is kinda also meant to be used with spells in your deck, so makes sense to boost that synergy between Thalnos and spells with the Bane talent for this one. And last we have Sylvana, still new leader, and unfortunately I haven't been able to unlock her myself yet, but consulting other players, the best talent to get for Sylvana's is the Black Arrow, which will allow her attacks to pierce through enemies dealing elemental damage, and that just creates more value for her as a backline range support unit than the other talents would. So that would be my pick number 1 as soon as I can unlock Sylvana's and start using her myself. Wow, that was a lot of stuff. Now, I hope this can be helpful to you, help you progress through your game. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment down below. For next, I will recommend you to watch this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time, my friends. Laku out.